Have you ever been using the longsword and thought to yourself, man, this block doesn't fucking work? Well, that was about my first 10 hours using the longsword. So hopefully, with this guide, at the end, you'll be a longsword master like myself. Let's get started. Right off the bat, I'm going to show you the perks I'm going to be using. The perks I'm going to be using are Barricade, Counterattack, Sword Mastery, and Shield Mastery. And the skills I'm going to be using are going to be Sprint and Second Wind. Let's talk numbers. Barricade gives you 50% gives you 50 armor rating and 50 magic resistance. Counterattack, when you successfully block an attack, you gain 10% move speed bonus and 10% action speed for 3 seconds. When using a sword type weapon, gain 2 damage, 5 action speed, also gain 10 additional move speed when taking a defensive stance with your sword. Shield Mastery, gain 10% move speed bonus when you successfully block an attack, gain 50% action speed towards your next block. Quick tip here, if you don't know what any of those numbers mean, you can go to your stash, hit open details, and you can hover over all of that stuff that I was talking about, and it'll tell you exactly what it does. So, every one of these perks is going to directly correlate with the longsword, and these 4 perks are gonna be what sets apart a person who just uses the longsword and a person who just builds around the longsword, because you can get a high DPS if you learn how to parry every enemy. Let's look at the gear I'm gonna be using. I run a crossbow and a longsword. I like to have the range, and of course I need my longsword. My squire gear is gonna be the Sallet, Adventurer Tunic, riveted gloves, padded leggings, and these heavy boots. Notice all of these increase my health in some sort of way, and most of it increases my damage. I am sacrificing the capabilities of PDR that the fighter has, and so instead I'm just giving myself a bigger health pool. Just because it doesn't hurt. A lot of these items give strength too, so they're going to be doing damage, and this is just one of the lightest shirts I can wear. And also, it kind of, how do I explain it? People will look at me and think I look dumb, and so that gives me a competitive edge. All right, so for those of you who are completely new to this game, if you hit right click while holding the longsword, it has its own blocking stance. And so when I say parry, this is what I mean. Now I'm going to show you how to parry almost every enemy. Every PvE enemy. All PvE. And I'm going to break it down into some categories. Category 1 is going to be the Skellies. They are the most common enemy in the game. And the next category is going to be short fucks. That's going to be the kobolds and the goblins. Without further ado, oh, and there's going to be miscellaneous. So there's going to be some enemies that don't really fall into a specific category, and also maybe not even an enemy, maybe even a trap. Just saying. So let's get started. So these are the skeleton swordsmen. They're pretty easy to parry. As you saw, those 2 attacks are the only attacks that they have, and they're pretty easy to parry. The most common attack you're going to see is the straight down attack, and you just kind of want to line your crosshair up with the sword. Next up, we got the skeleton archers. For these guys, you just want to aim at their chin, and you'll get the parry every time. This is about the distance that I stand away from these guys, just because you still gotta get the parry and you still gotta do damage to them, if that makes sense. This also works with the ice skeletons as well, but you have to treat those a little bit different. For some reason, you needed to parry them from farther away. If you look more towards up on the top of their head, you can get the parry pretty consistently, but it's always safer to just stay medium range. Like this. These 2-handed sword skeletons are pretty easy to parry. They have 2 combos. One of them is just a right-handed or right-sided swing, and the other one is a left-sided and then a right-sided. I don't even bother trying to parry the left-sided one because it's always followed up by a right. But if you learn the right one, essentially you just want to look down for the left, then look up towards the right, Be crouched too. And that's how you get the parry on that. The only attack that you can consistently parry with this guy is if he swipes you from the right. Any other ones are, I would just sidestep. The spear guy is gonna have 3 different attacks. The most common one is gonna be that swing downwards, but there is also a poke. They're both pretty easy to parry. Just kind of point your crosshair at it. Like so. He also has a sideways swinging attack, which is also pretty easy to parry. I aim for the handle, and I crouch down and look to the right. Here it is again. Pretty easy to parry. So here we got the Ice Swordsman. That's just what I call it. This one's pretty easy to parry. It has 2 different attacks. With these, you're just gonna hit. You're gonna walk backwards, and you're gonna aim towards their sword. And I like to crouch. I don't know why. It's just a habit. But they're pretty easy to attack. These are the only 2 attacks that you'll see. There's like a diagonal swing, and there's a poke. They're both fairly easy to parry. You just want to walk backwards and aim towards their sword. So these archers, just like the other archers, you're going to aim towards their chin, except these ones have a little bow bash that they do, but it's pretty easy to parry that as well. Just kind of aim towards their bow or really anywhere. I mean, it's going to make contact no matter what. Don't stand too close to it, or else they can go through your sword and manage to hit you. But it's pretty easy to get the parry on these guys as well. As far as skeletons go, those are going to be the only ones worth trying to parry, because once you learn them, you can get them pretty consistently. Besides that, let's move on to our next category. Wait, I forgot to show you guys. So there's this very funny clip I got when I was trying to get footage for this. I pretty much turned into Hitler. What have I done? I'm a monster. So this is where they spawn, and it looks like they got just trampled by mobs, which, you know, I've been there. And I didn't know that was gonna kill them. I thought I was gonna initiate a fight with that. Usually, you know, that does like 5 damage. I'm a monster. This is like the worst spawn for a new person. This game whack 101. His name is This Game's Whack 101. Holy shit. This game is not beating the allegations. We're gonna get started with the Axe Kobold. I don't really know what it's called. Very easy to parry. You just kind of crouch and look left. Exactly where I have my crosshair, you're gonna get it every time. Then of course we got the archers. These guys are just like the skeleton archers. You aim for the chin and you'll get the parry every time as well. Pretty easy. They do fire a little bit faster, so you have less of a time window to go in and get that parry damage. Here's a fun little fact. These goblin guys with the swords pretty much exist to counter the parry, because they swing in like 5 different directions, even though it's the same animation. Like, look at that. That was diagonal. Look at that. That was straight down. Look at that. Straight down, then a sideways. That one was down the middle. Like, bro, don't even try to parry these fucking guys. The goblins with the axe are pretty easy to parry. You just crouch, look up, and look left, and pretty much put your crosshair where mine is. Very simple parry. You can even look up more if you want to maximize the parry ability. You can look up more. But if you look down too much, you're going to get hit. So, at least keep your crosshair above his head. So these guys are pretty easy to parry as well. They're just like the archers, aim for the chin, except try to aim a little bit more to the left. Because as you can see there, if you're right on their chin, there's a chance it could pass right through your sword. But besides that, pretty simple parry. One of the easiest parries in the game, I think, because it's like an arrow parry, except I think it has a bigger hitbox. I'm not sure. The rest of these are going to be honorable mentions. Oh, the archer. I didn't get any footage of it, but it's the exact same as the kobold archer. Just aim for the chin, like always. Any range attack, aim for the chin. But the next category is going to be the miscellaneous. So these are going to be ones that don't specifically fall into a category, just ones that I find interesting. So I'm experiencing a little bit of lag here, but you can parry, you can parry the axe traps. Don't pay attention to my health bar. That wasn't from the axe trap. However, yeah, you can parry these. Let's say you're getting pushed by a barbarian. You could stand next to one of these traps, get a parry, and then delete their health. Pretty cool. Another thing you can do is if you can combo these spiders, believe it or not. It's pretty easy. You just gotta aim at their leg that they attack with. And I get pretty good at it. I get confident and I start standing still in a bunch of parries. Then he starts comboing me. Just wait for it. This is faster than I've ever seen a spider strike. Look at this. Starts comboing me, bro. Funny thing is, in that same match, by the way, because my health got so low, I sat down to get my health back, and then I started making a thumbnail for this video that you're watching. I'm trying to find like a good picture that I can use. Longsword Knight. This'll fucking work. Oh, I'm not picky. Uh-oh. What are you doing here? Get out of here! Get out of here! I'm making a thumbnail one. I was bored. Alright, where was I? Save that. Get out of here! I'm making a thumbnail. Pussy! 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 Oh, hellfire. Slowest moving object right here. You done screwed up, boy. You done screwed up! Sorry about that. God, it's one thing to have you, to win a fight with a longsword, to win a 1v2. But to win a 1v2, when you're not even paying attention to the game, while your girlfriend's watching you make a thumbnail? That's incredible. That brings us to our next section, the PvP. In my opinion, the PvP is easier than the PvE, but you gotta master the PvE first. By the time you master the PvE, being able to parry every single enemy in the game, you'll pretty much know the longsword like the back of your hand. And once you do that, you'll learn the secret with the longsword. Only parry big two-handed weapons. Don't waste your time going after. Don't waste your time trying to parry something that you can outdamage, like a rapier or a dagger, like a crisp dagger. You just want to go ahead and fucking smack him in the face. But if a barbarian or a warlock comes at you with a higher damage weapon like a falchion, double axe, felling axe, bardiche, that's when you try to parry. Let me know if you want to see a video where I show every weapon. I'm sure I can get my friend on board. Besides that, I hope you enjoyed this guide, and I look forward to seeing you guys out there parrying your asses off.